Welcome and hello and welcome and hello, guys. It is me, it is I, it is your old buddy Danny Deals. Of course, they call me Little Danny Cornbread DeCarlo anytime I'm out in Las Vegas because I'm moist, I'm doughy, and I crumble under pressure. They call me the tugboat. I'm short in stature, pull more than my own weight, and I'm rarely far from my home port. Of course, they call me DJ Patchy Drizzle. They call me MC Al Dente. They call me Stock Karen. They've been known to call me Hurricane Lopez. And of course, you can always call me by my Christian name. Tabasco Rojas. Call me whatever you want, guys. But I have news. I have very, very important news now. I'm going to go pretty quick, guys. What's up, Payush? John Candy hears you. He is present. He is accounted for. We've got the great Nautilus, or the greatest wrench in the entire fintech industry. Joining us, of course, we've got a lot of other people. The great Carl Seamark. It is cornbread. It is cornbread. Um, I know I always say this, guys, but I'm losing my voice. I've had a hell of a day at work, and I already did a really stupid prop video. So I am going to make this one quick, but I just thought this was such incredibly important news. I have to address it because SoFi aims to be the future of banking, the future of finance, the future of financial services. But more broadly than that, SoFi aims to be an integral part of the infrastructure of the financial system. And that's what's a little bit hard to get your head around if you don't understand the mechanics of how money flows around the world, of how transactions are settled, of how banks talk to other banks and foreign currencies settle in another currency. It's all very messy. It's all very complicated. It's all very expensive. It's all very inefficient. It's archaic. It's desperate, disparate, where it all doesn't fit together. I'm not sure. I never know which word. Anyway, guys, I'm not a thesaurus. Just a big, fat hammer swinger trying to give you a little levity here at the end of your day. But this, to quote Diamond Joe Biden, this is a huge fucking deal. You know, I I just think, okay, Anthony Noto buys $1 million worth of stock. He already has $220 million worth. That it's a big headline, and everybody likes to see it, and it moves the stock temporarily. But this is a million times more important than that because SoFi has a huge first mover advantage here, and they also have the advantage of Galileo. This is where Galileo becomes critical because they can push this out to a bunch of other fintechs almost overnight and say, hey, we have a better solution. It's cheaper, it's faster, it reduces fraud, it reduces errors, it's 24/7. I mean, there's so many positive points about this. SoFi is the first US chartered bank to get their, stable coin on Mastercard's payment rails. That's kind of what everybody's saying. I can't claim that I, fully understand every word of what's going on here because I'm just not that smart. But what I've read, what I've gleaned, what I've been able to glean is that this is extremely important because it's not just about getting customers one at a time and cross-selling those customers a personal loan. This is about the millions and billions of transactions that take place. I mean, SoFi's already getting fees through ATM network, through credit card networks, through all kinds of other settlements. So SoFi's in that game, but now they're deep in the game. And I think if you combine the first mover advantage with the ability for Galileo to push this out and distribute it all over the place, I think you have lightning in a bottle here. And I don't really think people get how big this is because, the whole criticism with coins and, crypto in general is like, what are the use cases? It's more of a novelty. You're buying something with no intrinsic value. You're buying, and in the last little while, that's just been blown out of the water because, SoFi is not only using the Ethereum blockchain, they're also using Bitcoin Lightning Network to settle, cross-border transactions. But here, this is a different story because SoFi becomes sort of the ground level, if you will. They don't have to go anywhere else. They have everything in house, and this is going to turn out. You guys, if you guys are long-term SoFi shareholders, remember today because if they can integrate this with Mastercard, they can integrate this with everybody. Now I know Visa came out and they partnered with Stripe, and SoFi is not the only game in town, but you don't have to be the only game in town. This is what I always talk about with my analogy of surface water. That financial services, this whole industry is just this giant dinosaur, this giant fatted calf It's there for the taking. It's not even hard to get the customers. It's not even hard to get the money because they've been doing the same things the same ways ever since credit cards were invented. And quite frankly, they screw over the merchants, they screw over the customers. The only people getting rich in this whole thing are the companies, taking those fees right out of your ass. And enough is enough. Like I say, J-Lo, enough. Like she's had enough of Ben Affleck after the fourth marriage of that giant five head, that giant, talented, beautiful five head. Guy killed the florist for God's sake. It's not easy. Um, he's about his father's business. But let me just kind of run you through the press release, what's going on here. And another thing, just of note, SoFi is trading. There's the price action looks super funky, but the volume is bullish. I always say, you don't want 200 million shares traded. I don't even want 150 million shares traded, but anywhere between that sort of 60, 80, 90 million, it tells me that shorts and price fixers are working very, very hard to suppress the stock into a lot of buying pressure. And I think we see evidence of that today. We see evidence of that on the chart. You see this bottoming out and you see it coming back into this little channel that I've established here between these two kind of shoulders. This move right here, it clearly hit some resistance here despite this little mini breakout and hit resistance again here. I don't know if there's much support here, but it's all I could find on the chart. So I hitched my wagon to it because I didn't have anything else to hitch that wagon to. And it's a heavy wagon. My oxen are burdened. My oxen usually die fording the river because I'm just too fat. That's my cross to bear. But I'm gonna go ahead and celebrate this news with a 10-piece chicken strip from no, I'm not a lurker. No, I'm not. Um totally losing my voice here, guys. I think I'm getting sick, but let's talk about it. You guys want to see the gold chain again? One of my viewers sent me this. I'm told the retail value on this chain is about $4 million, given the current price of gold and diamonds. There's about 800 carats of diamonds blinging on there. So I just would like to thank you, whoever sent this in. It was anonymously, but patronage is always important. I don't have a members area. My OnlyFans is struggling. There's not enough chubby chasers left in Southern California to keep my OnlyFans going. So I might have to shut that down just due to a lack of interest. My one member, I think he could be a little bit sketchy. But that's neither here nor there. What was I talking about? Yeah, this deal with Mastercard, of course, and also insider trading. You finally had the buy, so the officer sentiment score ticked up a little bit. Institutional ownership. Just show you this really quick. Still 88, so still very strong there. The shorts, I'm just guessing that they were shorting again today. I haven't even looked, but yeah, mildly shorting 73,000 shares. Yesterday, they borrowed another 12 million shares. And then today, it looks like they've borrowed just 367,000 so far. So it looks like we're setting up to, you know, move this thing back up. I don't think if you look at it, I mean, it came down to what, almost, what was the low down here, like 1685, and then it's already moved up, 12, 13% or whatever that is off the lows. So this candle is really important, and then this candle is really important because it sort of validates that it bottomed there. And I'm not going to try to explain why this is a bullish candle, but it's extremely bullish. And you have these very funky tiny candles with no volatility at all, just the stock kind of being held in one price all day. The volatility is back, but this is much more bullish volatility. And you see the volume just steadily moving up here, day after day after day. 43 million, 49 million, 59 million. It goes back to 53, but then, just really climbing the ladder. 68, 82, back to 67. These are just so many days down here of just heavy, heavy bullish volume. And I think, retail is still buying. Now, I think what they count on is retail blowing their load at the top at 32. And then as they track it down, retail is faced with the prospect of having to wash if they want to buy back in. Retail is faced with not having any money. Retail is faced with tax time coming up. Retail is faced with just being tiny wang losers who don't have the balls to buy the stock off the lows, prefer to buy the top and then sell the dip and smell the rip. We all have our issues, don't we? I certainly am not one to throw stones because my house is made out of the most fragile of glass. Um, Anyway, let's take a look at the press release. Why not? SoFi's fully reserved US dollar stablecoin will support settlement across the MasterCard network, including SoFi Bank. Galileo, SoFi's technology platform, will be among the first to offer its clients and their issuing banks the choice to settle transactions using SoFi USD, which is, of course, the stablecoin. The MasterCard multi token network will look to support SoFi USD, help expand interpolability between digital assets and traditional forms of money. SoFi and Purchase New York. That's a great name if you're in the financial or credit card business. Purchase New York. I wonder if they renamed that like Chevy Chase, Maryland, or whatever. SoFi Technologies announced an enhanced partnership with Mastercard to enable SoFi. Am I on mute? Fuck me. Fuck me in the troll ass. I better not be on mute. You guys stop playing jokes on me. If I'm on mute, somebody better tell me. Don't just let me talk like an asshole for a long time. I know you guys tried to tell me last time, but I didn't look at that's why I have the comments over here. Um, we got Beach Boy here, marathon. I can't tell what the hell you guys are talking about. You guys run marathons? I ran a 10K this morning before I went to a breakfast buffet. Jim Leahy at your servings. Bullish engulfing candle with confirmations today, according to my. That sounds about right, Leahy. I'll be your Randy. Gee, Mr. Leahy. He's like, I am the liquor Randy. Um, what's going on? Thanks, J Money. Yeah, no, I can see the light. Like I have to look over and see the green light because it just scares the hell out of me after that embarrassing incident. But SoFi today announced an enhanced partnership with Mastercard to enable SoFi settlement across Mastercard's global payments network. SoFi USD, the company's fully reserved US dollar stablecoin, is the first stablecoin offered by a US nationally chartered and insured deposit bank on a public permissionless blockchain. And if you understand this stuff a little bit better than I do, you'll understand really what a big deal this is, because this is really the future of everything here. I mean, this is going to make everything faster, cheaper, better, safer, more secure, help eliminate fraud. And it's going to, you want to say AI to pump the stock, say AI all you want. I mean, I'm a big Iverson fan. It's the truth. Iverson was fun to watch. Jason Williams from the Sacramento Kings, gets similar. Iverson maybe not as much as Williams, but the guy played street ball. He was just a maestro. I loved watching Allen Iverson. Heard he lost all his money or something. I don't know if that's true. Together, these companies explore how issuers and acquirers can settle card-based transactions with MasterCard using SoFi USD, enabling fast settlement options for MasterCard customers and unlocking faster money movement for use cases such as cross-border remittances and B2B money transfers. This is very, very big industry, guys. Remittances, B2B money transfers. I mean, think about this competing. Think about how much people use like Cash App, Zelle, all these other, forms of settlement, PayPal. They're all trying to do this, but I really feel like SoFi has their shit together more than any of these players. I feel like SoFi has a vision, SoFi has a roadmap, SoFi rolls out features and announces things very deliberately on their timing. Like they're not, pushing out to have, an options of trading available the first day. They're like, this is what's important, this what isn't important, this is what we have to do first, this is where we have to expend our limited resources to maximize the return for our shareholders. And I think Noto understands this stuff. He understands the timing, he understands the logistics, he understands how to maximize return on capital. I think way better than most of these CEOs, because sometimes the founder, I think you're just too close to something. You don't have the industry experience. SoFi, Noto has such a breadth of experience in, finance and deal making, and obviously multiple stints as an absolute, rock star at Goldman Sachs and, CFO of the NFL. And he understands sort of the nexus between sports and marketing and how much disposable income certain folks who attend these events at SoFi Stadium have. And a lot of people are like, you're crazy to spend that much. I think it was brilliant. I think the fact that they've spent what I think will turn out to be a relatively small amount of money for the naming rights to SoFi Stadium, accelerates them to being a household name. And Noto talks a lot about that, is the unaided brand recognition, how important that is, to gone from like 3 to 10 or 12 or whatever it is. And I think pretty soon SoFi is just going to be a full out household name. Everybody's going to know SoFi Bank. Businesses are going to use SoFi Bank. They're going to get into business banking. There's just, the sky is the limit. There's so much untapped potential in this beautiful, model that they've built, that they can just keep adding things till the cows come home, and they have it all in house. They own everything. That's the durable competitive advantage. This is the company that built their house out of bricks. Anthony Noto is the pig that built his house out of bricks. And that's why the wolf is not going to be able to eat my papa. My papa is going to win. We're going to win. Guys, everybody who's saying you should have sold at 32. Of course, if I knew what was going to happen, that this was going to be down, this long, I would have loved to sold all my shares in the 30s and bought them all back, at 18 or 17, have almost twice as many shares. But my crystal balls don't work. My crystal balls are musty and smelly, and they got like one little funny hair on them and some, cotton stuck to them. It's just not a pretty picture, guys. So I can't predict the future. Sometimes I have flipped SoFi shares off the top, but what I'm telling you is this. If you went, from 30 down to 18 and don't be upset. 30 is going to look like a speed bump. Don't sell anything until at least 100. I mean, just look at if you're long term. Now, if you're a trader and you want to go in and out, I have absolutely no problem with that. I've been known to do that myself on this stuff. But this, for me, I've said this so long, this is a forever stock for me. This is a company I think that can just keep growing and growing and growing and adding features and sucking up members and deposits. And they can do that in any weather. They can do that with rates up. With rates up, I don't know why my security cameras are going crazy here. Let me just turn that off for a momento. Put this baby on silent. Anyway, probably somebody just robbing me. Don't worry about it. Nothing to worry about. Nothing to worry about. In addition, oh yeah, I kind of read this and then talk and I forget where I am. So it's kind of anyway, SoFi is expected to be supported across the Mastercard multi-token network, the company's digital asset platform that helps connect traditional money with digital assets. This is the key. This is the nexus. This is what brings it all together and gives you that immediate, very useful way to, do transactions, make revenue. It's not theoretical. This is happening right now. Everything is moving on to the blockchain. I don't care if it's financial, medical records, contracts, transactions, what it could be domestic, it could be cross-border, it could be international. This is a great way for SoFi to push out multinationally. Dip a toe in the water, get a tentacle in the punch bowl, if you will. Get their fingers into a few pies or pasties. This integration aims to support interpolability across fiat currencies, stablecoins, and tokenized deposits while delivering greater choice. In addition, SoFi Bank is expected to settle its credit and debit transactions powered by the MasterCard network on SoFi USD. Galileo, SoFi's technology platform. Oh, I think I already read all this stuff. Sorry. MasterCard and SoFi are committed to exploring additional interpretability use cases across stablecoins, fiat, and tokenized assets. This is just the first little bit. This is just, we're not seeing anything yet. You guys, SoFi is going to be an absolute monster of a company. They have a tremendous amount of potential that nobody's seeing yet. The market's not only not pricing in, but I don't even think they can conceptualize what this company is going to be. I conceptualized this whole plan many years ago, to quote Cosmo Kramer. SoFi USD is at the heart of our strategy to make it faster, cheaper, and safer for people around the world to move money, said my papa. My biological Anthony Noto was my biological father. Paraphrase the great Tracy Morgan. Said Anthony Noto, CEO of SoFi. With SoFi USD as a settlement currency across MasterCard's network, card issuers and acquirers can more easily enable the millions of businesses they serve around the globe to instantly settle transactions. And this is key: 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. This is only the beginning of our efforts to bring SoFi's bank-grade infrastructure to digital commerce. Do you guys see what's going on here? SoFi is going to own everything from the ground up and through these partnerships. Everyone else is going to have to come to SoFi or someone like SoFi to get into the future of these businesses. If you're stuck in the past, if you're stuck in the Swift system or something else where you got to do 50 different things and then pay a fee, that stuff is dead. That is dead. And SoFi is leading the charge. SoFi first mover advantage. SoFi has Galileo to actually push this out. Nobody else has this. Stripe and Visa, they do not have a Galileo that can push this out to hundreds of other customers and sell this thing, because this thing sells itself. I think, to quote some Tarantino film, that shit just sells itself. I can't remember which one. By working with SoFi to enable SoFi USD across the MasterCard network, we're expanding how trusted digital currencies can be used at global scale, said Sherry Heyman, Global Head of Digital Commercialization, MasterCard. Bringing stablecoin settlement to our network will connect regulated stablecoins with a reliability, security, and reach that customers, businesses, and financial institutions expect. And this effort expands choice and flexibility across the payments ecosystem and how people pay and get paid. Stablecoins are a fast-growing force in global finance services. Roughly 30 billion is transacted per day, and stablecoin issuance in 2025 doubled from the prior year. More than half of the people with crypto holdings say they have held stablecoins in the past 12 months, and more than 75% say they're open to a stablecoin wallet if their bank or fintech app offered one. 75% of people with crypto holdings are open to a stablecoin wallet if their fintech app offered one. SoFi is going to own crypto. SoFi is going to own stablecoin. It's just they're not going as fast. They're not as flashy. They are more about the quiet guy in the suit and tie who is an absolute assassin. Sometimes it's not the flash. Sometimes it's not the soul patch. Sometimes it's not the expensive loafers. Sometimes it's not your VO5 hot oil hair treatments and some, funky Russian name or whatever. Sometimes it's about the company that does the difficult foundational work with a vision for the future. They have the patience, they have the persistence, not to pump the stock for the short term, but to play the long game to become a giant monster. I don't know where Robinhood's going to be in 10 or 20 years. Like I said, they've turned themselves into basically a sports gambling website. Who's going to trust them with anything? You gonna trust PayPal? PayPal sounds like a dinosaur. SoFi and everything SoFi is doing is cutting edge, right on the leading edge. These other guys are on the freaking bleeding edge, the trailing edge, the edge of the butt crack, the edge of the abyss, the taint zone, just between Neverland and the Dark Star, if you will. Over time, SoFi and MasterCard expect to explore more additional opportunities to drive adoption of SoFi USD, including stablecoin enabled card programs, cross border remittances, and disbursements, subject to regulatory considerations and MasterCard network rules. Of course, we've got to follow the rules. We know about SoFi, we know about MasterCard. SoFi is totally badass. MasterCard's a little bit boring, but we need them. So we got to say they're pretty badass too. Let's see what you guys have to say on all this fun stuff. Mr. Premium the option here. Stockman Mark, keep selling calls, my bro. Everything's still dropping. Couple dead cat bounces here and there. Yeah, I'm still selling some calls too, but I'm not selling as many as I was all the way on the way down. But I think we might have hit a bottom here, honestly, Mr. Premium the option. I mean, like I said on this chart, this came down to I don't know what that is. Let's see where it actually came down to so I don't just talk out of my backside. The low was 1680. I mean, the stock's almost, it's 1835 now, down after hours, of course. Everything just gets hammered after hours, especially SoFi. Um, but anyway, what the hell was I talking about? Yeah, this is another article. It just mentions kind of the same thing, but gives it a little more format by Christine Joy, and she is a joy. SoFi Technologies partner with MasterCard enable a former US dollar stablecoin on the latter's payment network. Offered. This is the first fully reserved US dollar stablecoin, the first to be offered by a US nationally chartered and insured deposit bank on a public permissionless blockchain. So it's going to be supported across MasterCard's multi-token network, a digital asset platform that helps. We kind of read all this, but just in a little more detail. With SoFi's USD as a settlement currency across MasterCard's network, card issuers and acquirers can more easily enable the millions of businesses they serve around the globe to instantly settle transactions 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Bringing stablecoin settlement to our network will connect regulated stablecoins with a reliability, security, and reach. I think I already read this. Yeah, I did. So we don't need to go over that. But yeah, that's just pretty much the news. I mean, it just sounds a little boring. It sounds a little technical. You're like payments, settlements. This really doesn't affect me. I thought SoFi was more consumer facing, but Galileo is important. Now, this might be a bit of a delayed fuse. We didn't see the massive growth. We didn't see, any mega banks jumping on board. I know a lot of people were speculating that Citibank or Wells Fargo or one of the others would, especially Citibank was the one that was always bandied about, was going to, transfer over their entire infrastructure to Galileo. But sometimes, guys, one door closes and another door opens that takes you to even greater destination than the first one would have. And that's just how things go when you're prepared, when you build a foundation, when you're disciplined, when you have foresight, when you don't get out ahead of yourself and try to just pump the stock for every dollar you can. SoFi could have got into more high margin businesses. SoFi could have gone fast, but the higher you go, the faster you go. Sometimes the harder you fall, or the faster you fall, or whatever. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. I don't really know why everything's falling after hours. Of course, we got the wars, we got manufacturing numbers were good. Um, there's a lot of good things in the US economy. Obviously, the market hates uncertainty, and nothing is more uncertain than just a worldwide war. You had the drones knock out a bunch of the, liquid natural gas production. I think it was from Qatar or somewhere. They're responsible for a huge amount of the gas that goes to Asia and Europe, and they knocked out a big facility. So, you know, the world is just very shaken by these events, but in the long term, I don't think that's going to affect SoFi's growth trajectory. And I don't think it affects the fact that SoFi, in my opinion, is dramatically undervalued. Dramatically undervalued. I think the stock's worth $37 today. And I don't even think that's really pricing in the unknown unknowns that, Anthony Noto knows. No, it's like Noto's like the Bo Jackson of our time. Noto knows. Noto knows what you don't know. He knows what I don't know. There are known knowns. There are unknown unknowns. There are unknown knowns. There are gnomes. There are trolls. Figgleforth. If you're a King of the Hill fan. If you had to buy leaps for SoFi, what would the duration? I gotta tell you, Keens, I'm kind of off leaps right now. I'm just loading shares at these levels, and when the stock bleeds down, I will sell covered calls. When I think it hits low, I would just sell cash secured puts to get your entry points right, or else just collect premium. Um, but yeah, right now I'm really into just selling options more than I am into buying options. I was when everything was kind of running and everything was making these big moves up that I was buying, such as like CRISPR, SMCI, SoFi. I was playing a lot of calls, call ladders. I was making a tremendous amount of money and trying not to give it back at the top. Everything's just so shaky. We live in such a, fast moving, volatile world that I would rather be just collecting premium and selling options right now rather than purchasing leaps. But if I was gonna go for leaps, I would just go out as far as you could, as far as they offer, because that's just like I said, SoFi is a forever stock, but it's a stock that market makers love to push down and short on good news because there are so many retail investors in the stock. As institutions continue to buy in, which I think they will, given the just constant flood of news and things they're releasing. Like when you talk about, oh, we're releasing a gold card, for or a $10 fee, and this is short term, cheap revenue, but it's not high quality, durable, competitive advantage type of revenue. This type of partnership, this type of deep integration with the financial system itself, this is durable competitive advantage. This is what SoFi is building. SoFi is building a huge long-term winner that might look a little bit boring. It might not be as exciting as all these, hipsters dancing around like a bunch of freaking fools and people with crazy hair talking about their peg ratios or whatever. My Peggy leg. I like it when Hank Hill did that takeoff on Buddy Holly peg leg. It just kind of goes off into a Buddy Holly riff. Pispeggy. I think I might have Pispeggy and meatballs. The key is you just add nutmeg, like Ming. Ming adds nutmeg to everything. 1 year. Well, I wouldn't really call 1 year option a leap. I mean, I guess they say anything over a year. I don't know what the technical definition. I have no problem buying a 1 year call on SoFi. I mean, I think the stock will be a lot higher in a year. So I think you could do very well. But I think the safer bet is to just buy shares and sell calls on those shares as we go, because you just don't know what SoFi is going to do. It makes a big run, it pulls way back. I just know at the end of the day, the stock market, they always say in the short term is a popularity contest. In the long term, it's a measuring contest because I believe SoFi is going to make $1 a share next year, unless the whole economy falls apart, which is definite possibility. But even if they get close to that and they're growing the bottom line at 40%, you see just how fast the EPS multiples change. It won't be more than a few years till, unless SoFi goes up dramatically, that the EPS multiple is under 10. It won't take very long at all because they're going to grow the bottom line way faster than people are giving them credit for. The incremental margins are going to be way higher than analysts are modeling. I don't think analysts get this business. I think a few do, but I think a lot pretend not to. Still just playing it like it's just a bank and a lender. But, you know, this is going to help everything. SoFi is going to make, even on lending, SoFi's net interest margins are just cray cray. I mean, that's why I say SoFi is built for all weather. High rates, SoFi brings in massive amounts of deposit, massive amounts of high quality members that are savers. I'll take SoFi savers over Robinhood traders any day of the week, but Robinhood is a pretty good buy down at 70. I mean, they make a lot of money, they make great margins over the short term, which for me is like 3 to 5 years. I have absolutely no problem owning Robinhood. But over a 10 to 20 year period, like my forever stocks, I would much rather own SoFi. That's just me. They're both good companies, just very, very different companies, in terms of their philosophy, in terms of their sort of governance, how they approach the future, how they approach, their products and what they want their products to be and what they want their reputation to be. I mean, Anthony Noto is somebody who's super concerned about SoFi's reputation, how they're viewed by the public, how they're viewed by regulators, how they're viewed by partners. It's not every company that MasterCard would partner with like this. They clearly see something in SoFi that they think this is going to be a huge company, a long-term partner, a long-term, fruitful relationship for both parties, in my opinion. Um, so yeah, so just taking a look again back up, sort of playing with AI. Um, and I don't, I'm not very good at AI, but you know, SoFi isn't just doing like a crypto thing. SoFi is plugging in its fully reserved bank issued stablecoin directly into MasterCard's global settlement rails. So this is something no other US bank has pulled off. And the news today confirms the expansion of that integration across the entire network. Um, why is this a huge deal? Why is this just not like, okay, a throwaway that, a bunch of other companies will follow suit and SoFi will just be an also ran, one horse at the show? Well, SoFi USD isn't a toy token. It's a settlement option across MasterCard's entire global payment network, meaning issuers and acquirers can settle card transactions in this stablecoin instead of legacy banking rails. SoFi is the first nationally chartered US bank to do this. So SoFi USD, first stablecoin ever issued by a US nationally chartered FDIC insured bank to be used on a public blockchain for mainstream settlements. That's regulatory legitimacy nobody else in fintech has. 24/7 settlement, a massive advantage. Traditional settlement runs on banking hours. SoFi USD and MasterCard runs 24/7, enabling instant settlements for millions of businesses globally. That's a direct attack on slow, expensive legacy rails. Cross-border and B2B payments get supercharged. MasterCard and SoFi explicitly called out faster, cheaper settlements for cross-border remittances and B2B payments, two of the highest margin categories in global money movement. You hear that? Margin, fee-based margin. Once you get this stuff set up, there is absolutely no marginal cost to these transactions. All you need is, servers and, you don't need a bunch of people to do this. You don't need a bunch of labor. You don't need any branches. You don't need a bunch of lawyers. I mean, you do to set it up, but the point is the margins on this stuff is going to be just incredible. And that's what SoFi is moving toward, to get a true tech valuation that the company actually deserves, rather than this stupid, regional bank credit union type of valuation that we've all come to know and love and been saddled with low these many years. I think that's even worth saying again. SoFi and Mastercard explicitly called out faster, cheaper settlement for cross border remittances and B2B payments, two of the highest margin categories in global money movement. SoFi becomes a Galileo becomes a distribution engine. Galileo will be one of the first platforms to let issuing banks settle in SoFi USD. That means every fintech on Galileo becomes a potential SoFi USD users. This is how a stablecoin becomes infrastructure. Plugged into MasterCard's multi-token network, SoFi will be supported inside MasterCard's MTN, which connects fiat, stablecoins, we already said this, tokenized deposits. That puts SoFi at the center of the next generation of payment architecture. This is something that's going to evolve and be adopted for years and decades to come. Like I said, SoFi has a big first mover advantage. SoFi CEO Anthony Noto adds fuel to the fire by buying $1 million worth of stock yesterday, his first open market buy in over a year, right as the deal was announced. Just added conviction, added news, added fuel to the fire. Of course, if you know anything about SoFi, you know, whenever they get good news, some, war starts, famine hits, the macro just goes absolutely to shit. So it steps on whatever type of bounce SoFi would have had. But, SoFi is basically, this is not hype. This is real nuts and bolts of the economy functioning. And SoFi owns those nuts and bolts. SoFi owns the pipes. SoFi isn't a gas station trying to fill one car at a time. SoFi owns the pipeline that lets gas flow through the entire world. That's how you have to think about this. It's massive, massive news. And SoFi is turning into ground level financial infrastructure, instant settlement, global reach, 24/7 money movement, and Galileo distributing it to every fintech in sight. This is a bank moving faster than the entire legacy system. And Anthony Noto just bought $1 million worth of shares to celebrate. Guys, I don't know. I think this is honestly, this could be the biggest news we've heard from SoFi ever, because it opens up a world of possibilities to high margin fee based revenue that's recurring, that's going to grow and grow and grow. They can pull in other customers, they can pull in other partners. There's a million other use cases for stablecoin on the blockchain. I've been reading about this for the past several hours, and it's just blowing my mind. I'm like, because I'm not somebody who's super smart with technology or crypto or really anything. I'm not somebody who's super smart. Full stop. I'm a good talker. I have a gift of gab. I'm pretty funny, but I'm nobody who's going to build you some kind of AI infrastructure, stablecoin server, high tech gizmo. I'm more a guy who's going to make a joke about stuff and fall down. Hurt myself. Anyway, yeah, Carl, that's a good point, because I don't think we've seen a more important AI development than since the Tevis 3000 2.0. And how dare you? It's this Tevis 3000 2.0 or 2000 3.0. I think I want to say this is going to be disruptive, but I'm not sure what button it is. No, we are gaining traction. Let's drill down on it. No. Listen to Tevis. I wish I could afford the real Tevis. You seen his new format? Like, he's in a suit. Him and Roy are sitting across from each other. It's like it's Crossfire. I'm waiting to see Pat Buchanan come out. These guys have gone so Hollywood on me, the Canadian fintech mafia. Tevis takes the cake. I'm pretty soon he's gonna be wearing like an ascot, smoking a cigarette, one of those long holders, just like challenging Felix for decadent dominance of the fintech intelligentsia down in Monte Carlo with Felix. He's doing tons of drugs with some models, keeping it real. I think Roy has more like family values. Tevis more has just tons and tons of girlfriends, but I don't know. I don't know the guy's personal life, but I'm more in tune with the Tevis 3000 2.0. Yeah, let's circle back to that later. No, we love Tevis here on the program. I'm actually a moderator on Tevis's channel. I was watching a show. I like to make a little snarky comments from time to time. But he's probably my favorite guy to follow on these types of just does his thinking is just very clear, just kind of mirrors what I'm thinking. But I think he has more depth of experience in these types of industries, working with teams, etc. So anyway, yeah, we were able to involve the Tevis 3000 2.0. Appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, I'm not as stupid as I look, Mike. I'm fatter than I look, but I'm not as stupid as I look. But I appreciate the comment. Yeah, I'm able to give, I'm very logical. I'm just like a logic freight train. I don't get derailed. I don't get distracted by a bunch of facts and nuance. I'm able to see the future. I'm able to see it for what it is. I'm able to pick winners and losers, you know what I mean? Know what I mean? TGL's on tonight. Yeah, I wasn't Jay Bizzles. I wasn't super happy with the level of branding that they have with that. It's like SoFi's supposed to be the title sponsor, and when the screen's up and the scoring's up and everything's up, you don't even see SoFi. Let's have our name down there all the time. Let's get an overlay. Let's get something going on. What's up, Scott? Big Raider fan. I like it. I say Scott is a man, he's committed to excellence. He exhibits pride and poise. Team of the decades. Greatest team in the history of sport. Going to say the Oakland Raiders, but Las Vegas Raiders, whatever. I don't like that stadium in Vegas. Makes me feel dirty. You go in there to that snack bar, you get some disgusting nacho for like $30. Seats are outrageously expensive too. I mean, I don't really care. I'll spend the money, but it's not an enjoyable experience for me. I much, much prefer SoFi Stadium, even though I can't stand the fucking Chargers or really don't like the Rams either much, but I hate the Chargers. I always did. But now, I'll go see them. I sit in the VIP at SoFi and chow down on a nice buffet. Got the couple of attendants fanning me so I don't get the vapors. I love SoFi Stadium. It's not just that it's SoFi. It's a freaking work of art. It's really one of the nicest stadiums I've ever been to in my life. My favorite place to go. Plus, it's like right in my backyard. So extremely convenient. You guys should go check out the Spiegel tent they got over there. Quentin Tarantino experience. A lot of fun. They got all kinds of stuff going on in the SoFi complex. Like, it's not just SoFi Stadium. It's not just sports. It's not just concerts. It's not just CSOM. There's so much to do over there. You just go. I wish they had some better restaurants and stuff around. Got these that's another good idea. If anybody wants to loan me a couple of $1 million, let's open a restaurant near SoFi or at SoFi or on SoFi. Maybe Anthony Noto could hook that up. Get my barbecue joint into SoFi. You never did nothing for me, Papa. You never did nothing. No preferred shares. You didn't even name me Sue. Just went out for a pack of I won't say cigarettes. Probably Noto's never smoked in his life. Went out for a nice vegetable smoothie and never came back. I don't think that fat baby was mine. Plus, he seemed a bit slow of wit. Well, okay. Plus, how could you have a fat baby when we're like 2 years apart? Oh, man. Anyway, yeah, Tevis got it going on. We love the Tevis 3000 2.0, and we love the real Tevis here at Unpokemos. I do feel like there's a disconnect because, the real Tevis gives you a little bit more insight than the Tevis 3000 2.0 because we're only working with 9 buttons here, And I wrote Tevis 3000 2.0 on the back. So this is officially my AI. That's all I can afford. That's my algorithm. That's my model. I compete with Claude, ChatGTP, OpenAI, Google, Gemini, Copilot. Copilot doesn't even have its own algorithms. It's total fugazi. Just ride the back of OpenAI or whatever. Trying to saddle up Sam Altman just 'cause he's got kind of a horse face. Or Josh Altman, that realtor. You guys ever watch that realtor show with that weird dude? He's like, cake, cake. Madison. He's like calling Madison a loser. I'm Team Madison. Can't stand that guy with that bull haircut. Can't even remember what his name is. Yeah, that other rich guy would always go, put on like a smoking jacket and have tea with his wealthy grandmother. Made a fortune in textiles or something. Selling LA or selling Vegas. Explored Madison's bisexuality. And the one guy like married his secretary, Heather. Kind of looked like a platypus. But Copilot is broke. Yeah, no, I like Copilot. It works quite well for some things because I do use Microsoft a lot, but it's not like the best AI. Noto and his son ripping darts for the next SoFi commercial would go viral. Come on. Guys, if you could get me in with, they don't have to pay me a penny. I will be a free hype man. I will go completely insane. I will push SoFi out to the masses. Just call me, Daddy. Call me. You could call me Al. You can call me Danny. Call me Hurricane. Call me Karen. Call me MCL Dente. And call me DJ Patchy Drizzle. Call me Little Danny Cornbread DeCarlo. You can call me the Tugboat. You can even call me by the name you gave me, Tabasco Rojas. I think if my real name was actually Tabasco, I'd be much sexier. This is my friend Tabasco. Say it like some kind of a Selma Hayek accent. Dawn of the Dead or whatever the fuck that movie was. I have no idea what I'm talking about, guys. I'm super tired. I meant to talk for half an hour. I've already been talking for 45 minutes. I'm losing my voice. I'm getting sick. Only thing getting me through is this 24 karat gold chain that a viewer sent me. Might go pawn this, get 3 or 4 million in cash, just buy more SoFi shares. Sell some CSPs, baby. I think I wouldn't mind selling some more CSPs right here. I think we got more bounce to the ounce, and I don't think it's a dead cat balance. We're going back to all-time highs. With all due respect to the great Mr. Premium, the option. Probably forgot more about these topics than I'll ever know. I respect his opinion. Everything is falling. You know, it is kind of trying to catch a falling knife, trying to pick the bottom, but that's what I do. I don't do it very well. I don't own SoFi, but you're a pretty good salesman. Ryan, please, for the love of God. Yeah, I'm still drinking green tea, man. It doesn't do shit. There's no caffeine in it, but I think it's helping me maybe lose some weight. It might be a natural diuretic or something. This simple broadcast is more my speed. You should get Felix on here as dog. Felix, ready to go, fueled up with a huge cocaine smoothie. Like to go down to Starbucks, get a triple latte, 6 shots, follow it with a massive gallon down in Monte Carlo. No, I'm not saying implying that Felix does a bunch of drugs in Monte Carlo, south of France, with parties with models, powders as wigs. I think each of Felix's dogs have a much higher standard of living than I do. As they should. Those golden retrievers should be pampered. Brian with a Y. He's a quality viewer. Like Brian. I think we might have 2 Brians with a Y. This is Brian McLaughlin from also from Crossfire or the McLaughlin Group. Freddie the Beetle Bonds. What say you? Like, well, John, I believe. Wrong. Good stuff. Who was that other old dude who was on Novak, who was on Crossfire? I used to love Crossfire when I was a little kid. Just love it. Just to make my I mean, I wasn't a little kid. I was probably like a teenager when CNN came on. You guys big fans of Ted Turner? I know at one point Ted Turner was the largest private landholder in the whole United States. Buy land, they say. A guy owned like half the country. Yeah, the other Brian with a Y is just not quite the same quality as old Brian McLaughlin, but we love all Brians with Ys. We love all our viewers. We love Mike M, of course. Give us a nice comment. So you say nice things about us, we praise you. You think SoFi could get to 45 or 50 in 12 months if we get S&P 500 inclusion? If the bottom line grows at 50%, which I think it's going to be, it's possible. It's possible. Because that's going to give us, 4 more ERs. I think the trend is going to become much more pronounced and unmistakable what the SoFi incremental margins are and how much of these new dollars on the financial services side they're bringing to the bottom line. And lending is doing, incredibly well also. So they're funding lending now almost 100% with deposits. They barely have to use any credit lines, warehouse facilities, lowers your cost of capital by 2%. Nobody can touch SoFi's net interest margins. No banks, no nothing. And you think, oh, they have a bunch of charges, it's all risky. Nope. The best underwriting, whatever their underwriting system is, I think it's the best one out there because they're so far ahead of their, projections and worst case scenarios in terms of defaults and charge-offs and all that stuff. SoFi is prudent. You're sound, mate. I remember this one dude who was just super drunk this one time in Hermosa Beach. I think he was from, he was British. I'm not sure if he was actually English or where he was, Scottish or something. But he kept putting his arm around me and going, "You're sound, mate. I like you. You're sound." And then sure enough, like 10 minutes later, the guy just punched me in the face. Total sucker punch. If anybody is like hugging you, trying to like be your best friend at a bar you just met, there's a very good chance they're going to sucker punch you in the face. And I've learned that the hard way about a dozen times. The good news is most people who are drunk and sucker punch you are, hit like little girls, so it doesn't really hurt. If I wanted a kiss, I'd call your sister. Quote Chris Farley right before David Spade hit him with a big, huge 2x4 right outside of Dinosaur World or whatever it is. Petrified Forest, that sounds like fun. Doesn't hurt here or here so much, but like right here. Nope, nothing. Ship shape. Hold on a sec, guys. Sorry about that, guys. Anyway, I had to take that one. But yeah, so that's really more than I had for this video. I didn't really have anything in the first place, but quote the great cool hand Luke, sometimes nothing is a pretty cool hand. And then I said that right before I ate like 70 boiled eggs. The worst thoughts of my life. How many eggs did he eat in Cool Hand Luke? I can't even remember. He ate like 50 eggs or something. It's a lot of eggs. Anyway, yeah, it's a covered calls is just a great strategy because it's just like free money. I mean, the worst case scenario, you sell your shares at some of your shares at a price you're comfortable with. I never write covered calls like all my SoFi shares or anything because I just don't want to be called away. I just live in fear of that. Like I write a ton of covered calls and all of a sudden they just then make some crazy announcement. The stock just goes sky high. I'm left, selling all my shares at 20 and the stock's all of a sudden it's back up to 35 and I'm just sitting here clutching my pearls like a little I, I got to remember there's certain things you just can't say in a polite company. But anyway, guys, that's really all I had for today. Nobody type for a sec. I need Senor to read this. What do you got? Poco, find the article. It's important. Which article? El Guapo Gordo, how will other fintech competition affect SoFi? Well, I mean, they're trying to take market share. JP Morgan thinks their capital risk is much higher than what they claim. Um, let's see. Did you see the Blue Owl news? Blue Owl, JP Morgan. What happened with Blue Owl? No, I didn't, to be honest with you. Let me see if I can come up here and find it. What's the news? They built the hottest firm on Wall Street. Now they have to save it. 4 hours ago, Blue Owl's private credit stumble revives fears. Another Bear Stearns moment. Big lenders, risky loans are rattling Wall Street. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the hell's going on. You mean Blue Owl's credit or SoFi's credit? Now, I haven't said, guys, I literally just finished my workday. I just come on to do these videos with absolutely no preparation. So I basically don't know what's going on at all. I'm like a babe in the woods. Did you hear what the dude was saying, Donnie? You're like a child who wanders in the middle of a movie. I was bowling, Walter. Shut the fuck up, Donnie. No, I'll go into what you're saying here, Sanjay. Blue Owl can impact SoFi, and I think SoFi sells them loans. Yeah, I know they have a big relationship, but I don't think Blue Owl's going anywhere, to be honest with you. I think a lot of this, my guys at the mega banks say this is just way overhyped. The risk is not like systemic. They're not going to Bear Stearns, but I don't know. Maybe they are. But that's basically an agreement to sell loans. I mean, anybody will buy SoFi's loans. I think that's what it is, or securitized loans. It's not. I don't think SoFi really faces any even major risks, even if like Blue Owl were to go out of business. I think it would have a minimal effect. SoFi would have to pivot, but they're great at pivoting. They stop on a dime and pivot like a ballroom dancing champion. Those ballroom dance people, or not ballroom, but those like tango, they do the competitive dance, all goofy. So goofy. I think the risk is in business loans. Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, JP Morgan used to bash SoFi all the time. I don't know. Yeah, but we don't even want a short-term hit because we're trying to get in the S&P 500 this year. China data was worse than the futures in the USA is down big. Yeah, I know people are saying the South Korean market affected us a lot. It's just the world is just in turmoil. Like, nobody really knows what the plan is for Iran. I mean, when you ask, the administration, they kind of shift all over the place. Well, we're not nation building. We're not, this isn't a war, about regime change. Like, but it's clearly a war about regime change. And then I feel like Israel's really making our foreign policy at this point. I don't know. I don't think that's a good thing. I'm nothing against Israel. Israel has a right to exist. I'm not, siding with the terrorists or anything. I mean, they're in a tough neighborhood. They're in a tough spot. They have to defend themselves. I get that. But you've really thrown the entire world into chaos. And I think, I don't know. I don't know if there is a more measured approach. I don't know if there is a better approach if you're really trying to pursue regime change. But it's going to be messy either way. This is not Iraq. I mean, these it's not a failed state. It's not sort of a dictatorship. The Iraq is Iran. The government is in everything. It's all these like state agencies. They do all the banking. They do all the construction. They do all the utilities. It's like it's integrated into every single part of daily life, every single level of society, business. It's all controlled through these massive spider webs, these massive networks. The regime controls everything. It's not just through violence and coercion. It's also, they control all the money. They control the entire economy. They control all the economic engines. So it's very hard to break that without just breaking the entire society down into, type of chaos and anarchy. But I hope we have a great plan. Sure, we have a brain trust like a Peter Navarro. I Dude, Pete Hegseth just scares the living hell out of me as sec def. I mean, he talks and is like he has no idea what he's talking about. He makes these like stern eyes. I really wish they had some more experienced players in the cabinet. On trade. I mean, you listen to this Besant. I mean, he knows better, but some of the stuff he says just wacky. And this Lutnick guy with this weird, slicked back hair and he's bald. He's going to Epstein's Island with his kids. He's like, "Well, it's not bad. I took my kids." Well, yeah, makes it better. Why don't you say you have an alcohol problem? You're out of your element. No, I don't know. I guess, I root for the US. I root for the administration. I hope they know what they're doing, but just the shifting rationale, this sort of no real clear goals. Like, well, we could put boots on the ground. Maybe we won't put boots on the ground. Let's see what the great Nauta Lurker has for us. Let's see. I can't read all this right now. Oh, this is yeah, I saw this. Anthony Noto was replying to this what was it, Alex Capital. Every dip in the past, SoFi's finally reached dip after being down 20%. And then B Newhart says this is, I think that's Bob Newhart, if you remember the Bob Newhart show. It's a negative indicator. It means he buys when he's concerned about the stock getting too low and he needs to boost the morale. Anthony Noto has plenty of SoFi stock and he doesn't need more. And then SoFi, I guess this is Noto's response, says, "You're guessing. You don't know because you haven't asked. No need to guess. You can ask me. There's only one reason I buy SoFi, because I think it's a great risk reward despite the concentration. I'm a blue collar kid from Poughkeepsie, and no matter how much money I have, $1 million is a ton of money, and I have 1,000 other ways to spend it or use it that would be meaningful and impactful to people and organizations that are near and dear to me and my family. By the way, a prepaid forward is not a sale. It's a way to finance liquidity. I can roll it forward each time before expiration if I want, many times, and keep participating in the upside and not resulting in sale and tax event. Look at the price point and the ceiling, and that might make you more informed about how you think the value in a given time period. No need to guess at all. It's researchable, and when you can find answers, just ask me. And going the answer, just ask me. And going forward, I will correct your mistakes. This time, I will give you the benefit of the doubt." Boom. Boom. Don't give these shitheads the benefit of the doubt, Papa. Call me. Anyway, guys, yes, I still follow HUMA. Chaos existed before all this started, even if it does not work. I still, Gene, I'm kind of, I'm kind of in that boat too, because like decapitating that regime in Iran, which is just very, very evil, you know, very oppressive, horrible, no human rights. They're like the anti-human rights regime. They got the rape rooms, they just murder, their own civilians for their protesting for basic human rights, women's rights. I mean, it's a very, very evil, horrible regime, that quote unquote theocracy, which is really just a authoritarian kleptocracy. You see all the mansions in Beverly Hills and London and different places that these regime figures have. I mean, yeah, I can't argue with you. I'm not saying I know the answer. I'm not saying the administration did anything wrong. I'm just saying the lack of certainty, it scares the hell out of the markets. It scares the hell out of me. My wang hid like a frightened turtle when I heard the news. Yeah, he does sound. Anthony Noto's a fucking badass, Brian. He is a badass. This guy was first in his class in engineering at the United States Military Academy. He's not an MBA guy. He might have an MBA or whatever, I don't know, but he's an engineer by training. He's an all-American football player, linebacker. He's a freaking stud. I got a huge man crush on him, even though he's my biological father. That's a little bit weird, but it's just a bit, guys. It's just a bit. I'm not gay, but I'm extremely gay friendly and I like to party. And I've been known to do gay stuff, so hopefully that doesn't count. Yeah, total linebacker, total badass. Fills the hole. Just ask Mrs. Noto. But says, watch out, they might be over leveraged. Funny, JP Morgan increased their position by 17%. Blue Owl, yeah. My guys say Blue Owl is going to be fine. It's just got to shake out, got to move through, so they made some bad decisions or whatever. I researched that all a while back, but I can't really remember because my mind is a total piece of shit. Anyway, guys, I said I was going to stop at 45. Now it's been an hour. I got to run, guys. I really, really appreciate you watching me. Yeah, exactly. JP Morgan, they're like, learning the trade from Goldman Sachs, the misdirection trade. Anyway, guys, I really appreciate you watching. Thanks so much, Not a Lurker. Thanks, Brian with a Y, Keen's Tam, Michael Anthony. Looked at PAGs recently to see that bounce might drop more. Might dip by the bounce back. I haven't, to be honest with you. Big Beard doesn't even bring up Captain Airborne Ranger. Yes, very true. Military officer, airborne, Army Ranger. I mean, guys, I don't know what you want on a resume. One of the best guys in the history, best traders in the history of Goldman. CFO of the NFL during one of their highest growth periods. The guy has connections everywhere and he has the brain to just make this all work. So, really appreciate it. Thanks, Keen. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Not a Lurker. Everybody who watched, I don't have time to read you off, but I can be your hero. Jim Lay, he's at your cervix. I love that name. It's funny. Guys, thanks so much for watching. I appreciate it. It's Un Poco Mas. This is a show where we give you just a little bit more. My name is Danny Deals. If you don't know, ask somebody. Peace. I'm out.